So you guys, today's video is a sit-down video, and given that I turned 30 in a couple of days, I thought that now is the best time to share the 30 things that I know for sure now that I'm turning 30. I have to say I'm a little bit nervous, and I just want to put it out there. And I'm trying to figure out why I feel that, because I don't usually feel nervous before I film videos. But I think it's because I think I know why. It's because I'm about to share, I'm actually shaking. It's not even that big a deal, but it's because I'm about to share things that I find to be my truth. And I guess in some ways I'm hoping that it resonates with you at some level. Not everything, I know. And of course a lot of what I'm sharing, if not everything, is based off of my perspective, my experience, how I interact with the world, the things that have happened to me, the things that I've done. So they may not resonate with you, but this is my truth. And this has brought me to where I am today. I feel like I need to do that, to like shake it off and be like, come on Sharon, it's okay, it's fine, just like share. I've written it down, here's my notebook, and I guess I'll just start it off. And here are the 30 things that I know for sure now that I am 30, or almost 30. Sunscreen is your friend. I thought I'd start this off light. Hey, pun intended! Whoop, whoop. No, but seriously, the number one thing I've heard from skin specialists, and I'm one of those people who's like obsessed with trying to get perfect skin because I don't have perfect skin, or like, you know, blemishless skin. The number one thing I keep hearing is that sunscreen is the one thing that most people forget, especially a black woman or man, because you think sunscreen is not for me, it's not really for my skin tone, but it is. One of the best things you could do is at some point in your life, go see a psychologist and open up. It may be because of something huge that's just happened, or just because you're like, oh, let me just go see where I'm at. But I'm telling you, it's one of the best things I ever did in my 20s, hands down. Motherhood saved me. And this is one of those things that's a little personal. I'm not gonna cry. But that's what I know for sure. And I wouldn't be the woman that I am today. I wouldn't be where I am today if I hadn't become a mother when I did. I can't explain it, at least not right now, but motherhood saved me. The way you inspire others and the way that you truly move other people and leave a lasting impact is by being authentically you. And I think this year more than ever I've started to understand that. I mean, before I think I was authentic, but this year it's like I've just peeled off a couple more layers and allowed myself to be seen in ways that I never did before. Still maintaining boundaries, but I really do think that if you want to have a lasting impact, if you want to inspire, then you've got to really just be yourself. Not what you think people want to be, and not what the person who inspires you is. You just have to be yourself, whatever that is. Woo, this one's a big one. You are the average of the 5 people who you surround yourself with. I don't know who that is for you, but just take a moment and pause. And actually at this point I have to say, I've done a video like this before, like things that I know now that I'm turning, I think it was 27 or 28, I can't remember, maybe even 29. And I don't know if some of the things I say in this video will overlap, but I didn't watch the other video and I can't remember. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of the points that I said when I did the other video. Which I'll link in the description box, just in case you want to see where my mind was. But you are the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. The spiritual and emotional and physical and mental parts of you are all interconnected. And you can't be whole in one if there's one part of you that isn't okay. So for instance, if your skin isn't going to be popping if mentally you're stressed, you're miserable, you're in a toxic relationship, friendship, workspace, your health isn't going to be great. If you're eating junk, not really caring for your body and showing it love, sleeping enough, then you can't, emotionally or mentally be at 100%. Everything is so interconnected. So even as you're entering like a food journey, you've got to stop and ask yourself, where am I at spiritually? Where am I at mentally? Everything is interconnected. Your body is your temple. This one I learned as I was pushing out a baby. And I was like, okay, I see what God meant when this came out in the Bible, that your body is your temple. And boy, isn't that true. But in even other ways, birth aside, I just see how my body has changed now that I'm getting older, and how important it is to continue feeding it good things, nourishing it with love, with healthy food, with even good people around it, people who will also show your body love, because that's the only way that you'll be able to carry through the, 60, 70 more years that you're hoping to live, and to thrive, not just like live and exist, but to thrive. Travel, for me, is how I nourish my soul. That I know for sure. And I had forgotten because I didn't travel for a while. But late last year, I managed to go to a couple of places and I was like, yes, this is what my soul needs. But more so, experiences is how I enrich my life. And that's what I'm hungry for too at this point in time. Travel and meaningful, exciting experiences with the people that I love. This I know for sure, and I have known for a while now, that I am destined to live a marvelous life. You may or may not know, but I even have a tattoo that says that. Okay, battery ran out. We still have the same problems, even in our 30s. We still have battery issues. Anyway, I was just saying, we are all destined to live an amazing life. And you should know that. You should know that at your core, that you weren't placed on this earth to suffer. Everything you do matters. And I feel like that's a little up in the air and seems ambiguous. But I mean it in the sense that, and I think I really started to understand it once I had a conversation with Sunny Bindra on Living With Us. And I was asking about building a brand and how does one build this like great, grand, popular brand. And he was like, that's not what you should be concerned about. Your focus should be on what can I do today that will be meaningful, that will add value to my business, that will add value to my employees. Don't worry about the brand. The rest will fall into place. And that's how you'll start to build a culture, and then a reputation, and then a brand. If you choose to be going into work 10 minutes late every day, then that matters. And that's going into building who you are and telling people who you are. Everything you do matters. And sometimes it could be like, it's such a small thing, but you just never know the ripple effect. This one I know for sure. I've known since I was a teenager, and I'm just gonna keep it short and sweet. Beyonce is the queen. Thank you. Your home has to be a safe space. Doesn't matter what else you choose to have it be. But I really do believe that your home has to be safe. And I mean it in the practical sense that you need to feel like you're safe in your home, but also safe enough to be vulnerable. That goes for people who have children as well. Like, allow them to really let themselves be seen without fear of judgment or being shamed. And I think sometimes we focus so much on making it look a certain way, but we're not really focused on the values and the culture that we have in this space. Or maybe we take it for granted too. You are worthy. I am worthy. You don't have to be worthy because you are rich, famous, whatever, you fill in the blank. You are just simply because you are. And I would say for me, this is sometimes something that I forget, and I think, but you need to be something in order to be worthy of love and respect and kindness. But you just are worthy as you are, as you came, because you are love, because you were made from love, because you're a reflection of God. You are worthy, period. Good things take time, okay? Whether that is building a business, hair, okay? Here's my little toit out in, my little toit. First of all, I'm just proud that I know what toit means, because for the longest time I didn't know. So now I know. Teeny weeny afro, in case you didn't know. Now we all know. But seriously, whether it's a brand, whether it's a relationship, whether it's hair goals, it takes time. And I think because of how I don't know what it is, whether it's the Justin Biebers of this world or the Kylie Jenners, and you just start to think like, Jesus, what am I doing with my life? This chick is a billionaire and she's like 21. Is she even 22 yet? And you start to be like, oh, I've got to figure it out now. But good things take time. In fact, I want to read out a quote that really resonates with me. And it's from Tracy Ellis Ross, who I think is just so amazing. But she said, I am learning every day to allow the space between where I am and where I want to be to inspire me and not terrify me. And it's so easy for fear to live, and not just live, but really grow and expand and completely take over your world, because you start thinking, oh, I'm not here yet, I'm not there. And I guess I'm even saying this knowing that that's a lot of what I was struggling with over the past few weeks, thinking about all the things that I thought I needed to have figured out before March 10th, right? But you've just got to be patient. And, Rome wasn't built in a day. Slow and steady wins the race. There are all these things that say, like, just be patient with yourself and be gentle. Podcasts are the best. I do not know what I would be or where I would be if it wasn't for podcasts. So you know how before I was also like, oh, my therapist, and like therapy has completely changed my life. I do think podcasts is up there with one of the things that educates me and teaches me all the time. It's almost like I'm reading a book, but I'm not. I'm listening to people in interviews, and a lot of the podcasts that I listen to are driven around like self-growth and self-actualization. And while we're at it, books are your friend, okay? Pick up a book, make your children, your nieces, your nephews pick up books. And I know that the reading culture is dismal. TV, phones, they've all taken up majority of our time and energy. And I'm also guilty of that. But there's just nothing like reading a book and being able to dive into someone else's world and mind and perspective. And it takes you out of your own. And it makes you see that the world doesn't really revolve around you. Social media is a beast. And it's a beast that sometimes we can tame and, provides us with laughter, a break, joy, money, if that's where your business thrives off of, whether you're selling things or your brand is you're like a social media content creator. But there's a lot about it that I just don't understand. And also, if you're not really careful and if you haven't set clear boundaries for yourself, then you can be taken over by this thing that is social media. And it's only come into our lives for a few years, but it's completely galvanized how we relate with each other. It's fragmented relationships. Listen to this. I don't know if you'll agree, but a few weeks ago I spoke to two women, and both of them had been married for 40 years plus, separate occasions, by the way. And I asked them, why do you think marriages don't last as long, or relationships don't last as long these days? And I mean, you've been married for 40 years, so what do you think? And they both shared other things and gave really great examples. But one of the things they talked about was the mobile phone and social media, and how they think, and I'm paraphrasing what they were saying, but they think that it's led to people being more in other people's business. So instead of being more concerned about my relationship, I'm over here being like, wow, they went to Hawaii? Jesus, why aren't we going to Hawaii? Wow, they moved into a new home? Oh God, what are we doing wrong? Or you even are more concerned about portraying the perfect version of you rather than actually fixing and building a relationship. I don't know if you'll agree, but I just thought, that's, both of them have talked about mobile phones, social media, and been like, what is this? There's just something about it that doesn't add up. So social media is a beast. You do with that what you will. Setting boundaries is how you maintain sanity and clarity. You need A, to teach people how to treat you. B, learn how to say no and be okay with it. Boundaries are a good thing. And I know for me, that's how I'm able to gain some sense of clarity and remain sane. I said this before to you earlier, if you've been watching my vlogs, which by the way you should have, okay. But I said this to you. You need to make your own money. And this time I'm speaking specifically to the ladies. Majority of the people watching my videos are women anyway. But women, ladies, please make your own money. And if that's not what you want for yourself, for whatever reason, then at least have an understanding of how to manage money. So you're not just sort of, meh, I don't know where it goes, how much comes in, what I spend it on. And I think in our society, we're often raised, and it's not told to us. No one sits you down necessarily and tells you this is how it's going to go, but it's assumed, it's implied. One, that making money isn't really for the woman, that's really the man's place. And two, that even if you do make money, you can only make a certain amount. Because if you make more than the man that you hope to be with, then it's an issue. So just make enough to sort of, live and just like survive, but leave the real money making and the money decisions to the man. And I don't agree with that. And I don't agree that it's simply for the man to do that. And I think, again, if you've decided to be a stay-at-home mom, for instance, then at the very least, I think it's so important that we know how to grow it, to handle it, to manage it, and not just play a passive role like you don't know. Because whether we like it or not, money equals freedom. Money equals power. We're going to talk more about this a little bit later. But I feel so strongly and so passionately about women making money, or at least managing their money well. I feel like I'm going to go into like one of my therapy sessions, but what I know for sure is that learning to forgive yourself is one of the best gifts you can give yourself, but that it's also one of the hardest. It's one of the best things you could do, to be like, well, that was Sharon yesterday, and it brought me to where I am today, and for that I am grateful. And if I made mistakes then, I own that. But I also forgive myself for what I did, for the mistakes I made, for whatever guilt I'm carrying. I forgive myself and I let it go so I can focus on the version of me that I want to be. And that is so difficult, but it's the best thing you can do for yourself. There is nothing like God's love, and to know that there's something bigger than you that guides you. But I do know that life is bigger than just us and our needs. And like there's this Kirk Franklin song that I really, really like. And it says, "You love the most unlovable parts of me." There's just really nothing like God's love. That's what I know for sure. This is a tough one to swallow, but you attract what you are, okay? You attract what you are. So if you're feeling anxious, insecure, scared, then that's what you will attract in the different relationships in your life, at your workplace, the kind of business deals you're getting, the conversations that you're going to be having, that's what you'll attract. But if you're feeling and acting confident and empowered and loving and kind, then that's what you bring into your space, because the world is responding to you. Cutting your hair, for the ladies that is relationship changing. Something just shifts within yourself, and it's hard to put into words. And I wouldn't have understood it even if I read it in books or watched shows about women who cut their hair. If I hadn't done it myself, I wouldn't have gotten it, right? And I would say at some point in your life, just try it. What's the worst that could happen, okay? That people will say you look weird, that you will feel you look weird. There are things that you can do to, like, you know, grow your hair back or put a weave, braid, whatever. But I do believe, hey, that there's just something there. And I would love for women to experience that more, but it changes how you view yourself, and it changes your relationship with yourself, and in many ways your definition of beauty and power. That it's okay to spoil yourself, and that pleasure is a good thing. That it's not always about you, it's not always about me, that the world doesn't revolve around me, doesn't revolve around you, and there's got to be something bigger in what you want to do, what your goals are. That you've got to invite things that are outside of your own personal needs and aren't purely about your own personal gains. There's got to be something bigger. And I think, like, in my life, like, my dad has been such a great example of this, and just how selfless he is. It's, wow. I mean, he's goals when it comes to that. But there has to be something bigger. That it's so important to know where you're going. And even if you're not one of those people who sits, you know, January 1st and lays out your goals and you're like, yeah, this is what I'm doing for 2019. Just to have an idea of what you want for yourself, for your family, for your children, for your career, for your health goals. Have an idea of what it is that you do want, because otherwise then where are you going in life? And also it helps with, when you're finding people, how will you know that they are aligned with what you want for yourself if you do not even know what you want? So how do you even know that that job was the one you should have taken if you don't know what your end goal is? Or which one you should have rejected? How do you know which man you should be with, or which woman you should be with if you don't know what you want for yourself? I know for sure that we need to provide more safe spaces for children to express themselves. And I think sometimes we forget that children also have feelings and ideas, and that we should pause and sort of give them room to express themselves. And we often just are like, what troubles do you even know about life? What frustrations do you know? What feelings do you, are you angry? You're not allowed to be angry. And I don't know why we do that. And the reason why I say this is because there's a lot of people, and I was just talking about this with my cousin the other day, but there's a lot of people who are carrying around pain that stemmed from something that happened in their childhood that wasn't unwrapped, and people didn't tend to that. And I think if we paid more attention to children, to how they're acting, and asked ourselves, why are you acting like this? Where is this misbehavior stemming from? And not really villainizing them and crucifying them because, Jesus, you're just a difficult child. Who are you? Who raised you? What's wrong with you? But to really understand, why are you like this? Why are you lashing out? Because kids don't just act out because they're horrible human beings. There's always something. There's always a pain that's how they're choosing to express it. Last thing, and I wanted to end this with this thing, is that, surprise! I know this is a little confusing, but I was editing the video and I realized that I missed out two things. I don't know how. I think I just skipped two things. So it's not going to make sense to jump from 27 or something to 30. So I'm just going to insert the two things I forgot. You cannot do it alone. You just can't do it alone, no matter how strong you are or think you are, or how brave you are. At some point, you're going to need to ask for help and be okay with that. And that's also just okay to ask for help. I also know for sure, and this I know from having interviewed several child psychologists and like parent coaches on the show, on Living With Us. And I know that parenting, and good parenting at that, stems from a keen sense of self-awareness. It all starts from there. If you want to be a great parent, you have to really know who you are. Understand what ticks you off when your ego comes into play, what fears and pain you're carrying from your childhood, what kind of day you've had, what triggers you're working off of. Like, you really just need to know yourself, and sometimes it can be so painful knowing the truth, because it's not always pretty. But that's what I've gathered from all the child psychologists that I've interviewed in the past few months, like 8 months or so. The number one thing that it always boils down to is self-awareness when it comes to parenting. Okay, now you can get back to the other video. Last thing, and I wanted to end this with this thing, is that you are going to be okay. I don't know what it is that you are going through or struggling with, frustrated about, but you are going to be okay. And it, I guess, ties back with what I was saying earlier, that we are meant to live our best lives. We're meant to be the best versions of ourselves. So you are going to be okay. And I think maybe in some ways I'm saying that to myself because I've been a little bit anxious about stepping into my 30s, and I didn't even realize that until today. But you're going to be okay. You're going to be all right. And yeah, that's it. Oh my God! I'm turning 30! Thanks guys for watching. If you are in your 30s, I would love to know what you know for sure. It doesn't have to be 30 things. Just like share what you know. And we can all just like learn from each other and take it from there. And if you're not in your 30s, let me know how your 20s have been. My 20s have been whirlwind, like a ride and a half, but I'm so grateful because I wouldn't be the woman that I am today if it wasn't for my 20s. So here's to learning, here's to growth, here's to joy and peace and love. Thanks guys for watching. I hope you have a super weekend and that you celebrate extra this weekend because, you know, I'm turning 30, so cheers to that. And I'll see you next week Friday. Thanks for watching guys. Bye!